Breaking news, major quarterback shakeup in Las Vegas. The Raiders are making moves, and one name has just been shown the door. What does this mean for the team's quarterback room, and what surprises could still be coming before the season kicks off? Stick around, because this unexpected turn could change everything. We're getting fresh reports out of Raiders camp, and this one is raising eyebrows. The Las Vegas Raiders have officially waived quarterback Carter Bradley. While some fans may be caught off guard, those following the depth chart closely could see this coming. With Aidan O'Connell bringing proven starting experience and rookie Cam Miller climbing the ranks quickly, the writing may have already been on the wall for Bradley. Cam Miller, the young signal caller with huge upside, has been turning heads in practice. Raiders brass clearly sees something in him, enough to lock him in as a developmental QB for the future. And yes, while he's not ready to start just yet, Miller's style mirrors that of current starter Geno Smith, both capable of extending plays with their legs and executing in a high-tempo offense. That makes the transition seamless if and when Miller's time comes. But this move does more than just tighten the QB group. By cutting Carter Bradley, the Raiders now have 89 players on the roster, which means one spot is now wide open. Will they use it to bring in a veteran quarterback? Or maybe a rising name looking to prove himself? Could we even see a trade or another surprise release in the QB room? Anything's possible in the NFL, especially this time of year. But before we dive deeper into this story, a quick reminder, if you're a true Raiders fan or just love staying ahead of NFL news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a breaking update. Let's keep growing this community of die-hard football minds. Now back to the news. The biggest takeaway from all of this? The Raiders aren't playing it safe. They're evaluating every position with intensity, and no one, not even a quarterback, is untouchable. Keep a close eye on what they do with that open roster spot. This could be the start of a much bigger shakeup in Las Vegas. If Geno Smith were to go down with an injury, and let's face it, in the NFL, it only takes one hit, the next man up for the Raiders would be Aidan O'Connell. But here's where it gets interesting. Aidan has experience, sure, but there's some chatter behind the scenes that Chip Kelly may not be completely sold on him as the ideal backup for this offense. Why? Because this system, fast-paced, read-heavy, movement-based, thrives with mobile quarterbacks. And while O'Connell has the arm, mobility isn't exactly his strong suit. So what happens if Kelly wants a backup who better fits the mold? A player with a similar style to Geno Smith, someone who can step in and keep the offense flowing without a drastic change in tempo or play design. That possibility alone could spark a late shakeup at quarterback. It's something to watch closely. But the quarterback spot isn't the only one drawing attention. That final roster slot, now open with Carter Bradley gone, could go in multiple directions. Some whispers suggest the Raiders may eye another wide receiver. And honestly, it makes sense. Right now, relying on two rookie wideouts to carry serious weight in a high-stakes season? That's a gamble. Depth and experience matter, especially when games get tight. Would the Raiders take a swing at a veteran like Amari Cooper if the opportunity arose? Or could they pivot and bolster the defense instead? Let's not forget, the team recently showed interest in cornerback Shaquill Griffin, who ended up signing elsewhere. That tells us one thing. They're hunting. Maybe not publicly, maybe not loudly. But they are definitely looking to patch one last hole on this roster before things get real. The strategy here is clear. Keep the roster fluid. No one's job is safe if there's a better option out there. And when it comes to that 90th roster spot, the Raiders might just use it to pull off a late upgrade that no one saw coming. Carter Bradley's release might seem minor on paper, but it's often these small, quiet moves that signal bigger changes are ahead. Stay alert. Things are just getting started in Las Vegas. While the release of Carter Bradley made headlines, let's shift focus to something even bigger, something that's catching the entire NFL world by surprise. We're talking about Brock Bowers and the sudden, stunning rise in how league insiders view him. Each year, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler runs a massive project. He surveys NFL head coaches, executives, scouts, the real decision makers, and asks them to rank the top players at every position. It's a pulse check from inside the league itself. And when it came to tight ends this year, Brock Bowers wasn't just on the list. He topped it. Let that sink in. A 22-year-old fresh off his rookie season, with no Hall of Fame quarterback feeding him the ball, was ranked as the #1 tight end in the entire NFL. Not top 5, not rising star, #1. That's not just hype, that's unheard of. Despite inconsistent quarterback play last season, bouncing between Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and even a short stint with Desmond Ridder, Bowers still exploded onto the scene. He shattered the rookie reception record for tight ends and showed a level of control, fluidity, and toughness rarely seen at the position. One NFC executive described him like this: "He's a matchup nightmare. Speed, hands, work ethic, he checks every box. And when the ball's in his hands, he's dangerous." An NFL coordinator added, "He doesn't just run routes, he glides. The game looks effortless for him." And here's what makes all of this even more mind-blowing. He's just getting started. Bowers has years ahead to refine his craft. And if this is how he looks after year 1, the ceiling isn't just high, it might not even exist. It's rare for tight ends to be seen as offensive cornerstones this early. But with Bowers, it's different. The league already sees it. And now the rest of the world is catching up. So while the Raiders adjust their quarterback room, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. They might already have one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in football, and he's only 22. There's a different energy surrounding the Raiders this season, and it's not just talk. At the heart of that buzz, Brock Bowers, a rare talent who already looks like the most complete tight end in football. But here's the thing, he's just the start. This offense is quietly stacking up weapons that could make them one of the most dangerous units in the league. You've got a tight end that can torch linebackers and safeties, a backfield built around a top-tier running back, and now there's real noise about a potential breakout wide receiver, Dante Thornton Jr. His name keeps popping up in camp reports, and if what we're hearing is even half true, the Raiders may have found themselves a star in the making. Add in veterans like Jakobi Meyers, who brings consistency and toughness, and emerging names like Jack Bech, whose late college surge and standout Senior Bowl performance have people talking, and suddenly this receiver room doesn't look thin. It looks dangerous. And here's the key difference between this season and years past. It finally feels like there's a plan. Let's be honest, the last couple of years were scattered. The Jimmy Garoppolo experiment. It never really felt like the long-term answer. He was a system guy who fit a mold in San Francisco, but didn't have the juice to carry a franchise in Las Vegas. This year, that changes. Geno Smith is now at the helm. He's not just a stopgap, he's a proven playmaker. A quarterback who can extend plays, hit deep shots, and lead a locker room. That shift alone lifts the entire offense's ceiling. But offense is more than just flashy names, it's built in the trenches. And that brings us to the next unit worth spotlighting, the offensive tackles. We'll get into that next, but one name deserves early recognition, Kolton Miller. He's been grinding in the shadows for years, but it looks like the rest of the league is finally starting to take notice. The Raiders might have a lot of new faces, but the foundation is starting to settle, and what's being built on top of it could turn heads this season. Let's talk about a name that doesn't get nearly the respect it deserves, Kolton Miller. He didn't crack the official top 10 offensive tackles list in the latest rankings by NFL execs and coaches. But let's be clear, he wasn't far off. Miller landed just outside the elite tier, earning honorable mention status, which realistically places him within the top 15 to 16 tackles in the entire league. That may not sound flashy, but considering the level of talent at that position across 32 teams, that's serious company. Now here's the part that matters more than rankings, consistency. While critics have questioned Miller's ceiling, some fans even calling for him to be replaced by unproven names like Thayer Munford or Charles Grant, the tape tells a different story. Miller has been a cornerstone on this Raiders line. He's durable, experienced, and brings real physicality in the run game. That matters more than people realize, especially with a team trying to establish a strong ground attack. He might not be the most dominant pass protector in the NFL, but as a run blocker, he's a force. He moves defenders, sets the edge, and opens up gaps in a way that makes life a lot easier for whoever's taking handoffs behind him. And think about this. Some of the tackles ranked ahead of him, guys like Lane Johnson, Trent Williams, Ronnie Stanley, they are in the final stages of their careers. Retirement is looming for several of them. As they step out of the spotlight, Miller is poised to rise. Quietly. Steadily, like he always has. And he's not alone up front. You look at Jackson Powers-Johnson, DJ Glaze, this offensive line is being built to move people. That's the identity. Physical, relentless, Raider football. So while Kolton Miller may not be the name getting all the media love right now, make no mistake, he's one of the key reasons this offense could be ready to explode in 2025. Let's shift the focus back to the trenches, where games are won. Kolton Miller is quietly becoming one of the most important pieces on this Raiders roster, and while he's not often at the center of highlight reels, his impact is felt on every snap. Miller recently earned an honorable mention among NFL offensive tackles, meaning league scouts and execs see him as a top 16 player at his position. That's no small praise, considering the depth of talent across the league. And it came with a notable quote from an anonymous AFC scout. Kolton Miller had a slow start last year due to a shoulder issue, but he picked it up. He's a very consistent player, not quite in the top tier, but just outside of it. That's a fair assessment, and one that reinforces what Raider Nation has quietly known. Miller is rock solid, and when healthy, he holds down the blind side as well as most in the league. Now let's widen the lens a bit. Who's setting the standard among tackles right now? Tristan Wirfs, Penei Sewell, Lane Johnson. These three are the gold standard, athletic, technically clean, and physically dominant. Whether you rank Sewell first or give the nod to Johnson's veteran savvy, that trio is in a class of its own. But here's where it gets controversial: Trent Williams. He was listed as the fourth best tackle, but if you've watched closely over the past 2 seasons, the cracks have started to show. His tape reveals real decline, 40 to 50 losing snaps last season alone, and that's not what you want from someone still ranked in the top 5. Yes, he's a future Hall of Famer, but based on current performance, he doesn't belong in the top 10 anymore. Meanwhile, younger talents like Jordan Mailata, Rashawn Slater, and Laramie Tunsil continue to ascend and deserve their spots. Others? It's a mixed bag. Dion Dawkins? Solid but inconsistent. Honestly, Spencer Brown on the opposite side of that Buffalo line might have more long-term upside. Christian Darrisaw, Andrew Thomas, Jake Matthews, Taylor Decker, Ronnie Stanley, all respectable names. But here's the key. As aging stars begin to fade, players like Kolton Miller have a massive opportunity to rise in these rankings, not because of hype, but because of durability, reliability, and steady dominance in the run game. And in this Raiders offense, that matters more than ever. One player I still think about from that draft class, Bernhard Raimann. Man, I really wanted the Raiders to take a shot on him. He went in the 3rd round, a little later than I expected, and the moment I saw him on tape, he reminded me of Kolton Miller. Same frame, same footwork potential, and the kind of ceiling that screams future top 10 tackle. Mark my words, if he stays healthy, he's going to be one of the league's best. And while we're on offensive line recognition, a few other names caught attention in the voting. Brian O'Neill, Charles Cross, Orlando Brown Jr., Spencer Brown, Paris Johnson Jr., Luke Goedeke, Garrett Bradbury, and Zach Tom. It's a fascinating list, some rising stars, some already peaking, and a few who may surprise people this year. But let's pivot to a name that's creating real buzz off the field right now, Jauan Jennings. There's talk circulating that Jennings might be looking for a new home, and the Raiders and Steelers are being floated as potential landing spots. Now, nothing confirmed yet, but it's definitely interesting. Jennings isn't just another rotational receiver. He's been one of those glue guys for the 49ers, a true X-receiver, stepping up every time Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel missed time. And last season, arguably the best of his career. He's not flashy. He's not putting up WR1 numbers, but he's tough. He wins on 3rd downs, and he's the kind of player who doesn't need 10 targets to make a game-changing impact. You know who he reminds me of? T. Higgins. Not stylistically identical, but in terms of role, very similar. He's that physical boundary presence that balances out speed and shiftiness in other parts of the offense. Just like Higgins complements Chase and Boyd in Cincinnati, Jennings has quietly become that stabilizing force in San Francisco behind McCaffrey, Deebo, and Ayuk. Now here's the real question: should the Raiders make a move? We've got young talent in Dante Thornton Jr., and the expectation is that he could grow into that X-receiver role. But this is the NFL. It's 3rd and 11, late in the fourth quarter, ball on the 40, game against the Broncos on the line. Are we putting the ball in a rookie's hands in that moment? Or do we bring in a guy like Jennings, someone who's been there, taken the hits, made the clutch plays, and doesn't shrink in big moments? It's a conversation worth having, and if the Raiders are serious about contending this year, depth at wide receiver matters, especially when that depth comes with toughness, reliability, and big game experience. Let's be real for a second. Are we ready to throw Dante Thornton Jr. into the fire against someone like Patrick Surtain II in his rookie year? Now, I'm not saying Thornton won't become a great receiver. The talent is obvious, but going up against a lockdown corner like Surtain right out the gate? That's a brutal ask for any rookie, and it's not just him. Jack Bech, another promising piece, is still raw. Trey Tucker? He's got speed, but hasn't fully proven he can be that guy yet. So now we're looking at an offense where the top 4 receivers could be Thornton, Bech, Tucker, and Jakobi Meyers, with 2 rookies, 1 unproven speedster, and 1 reliable vet. That's not bad. But is it ready to win right now? If you're a team aiming to make noise in the AFC, you can't afford to hope your young guys figure it out mid-season. You need insurance. You need experience. You need someone who's been there, which is why a move for someone like Jauan Jennings actually makes a lot of sense. Let me be clear, I'm not giving up a high pick or throwing $20 plus million his way. But a reasonable deal? Absolutely. Jennings brings toughness, physicality, and a veteran presence that balances out a young, developing receiver room. He's not flashy, but he's dependable, clutch on 3rd down, and unafraid to go across the middle. That's a weapon every quarterback needs. Some fans have floated the idea of using Brock Bowers as the X-receiver, and sure, you'll see him lined up outside plenty. But let's not box him into one role. Bowers is most dangerous when you move him around, when you force defenses to guess whether he's blocking, slipping into the flat, or streaking up the seam. Against linebackers, he's a mismatch. Against safeties, he's a problem. Against slot corners, that's barbecue chicken. He's not just a tight end or an X, he's a chess piece. And you don't waste a chess piece by locking it into one square. So yes, Bowers will line up out wide. Yes, he'll take on WR1 duties in moments. But the smart play is surrounding him with complementary weapons, receivers who can win one-on-one, draw coverage, and give your rookie QB clean reads. That's how you build an offense that actually scares people. And if a guy like Jennings is available, you don't hesitate. You pick up the phone. If you're the Raiders right now, you can't afford to sit still. This is a young, promising offense, no doubt, but potential doesn't win games in the NFL. Execution does, and that means always scanning the horizon for ways to get better. Look, I think this offense can be really dangerous. There's speed, size, athleticism, and some exciting rookies with sky-high ceilings. But let's be honest, the biggest question mark is the lack of experience. You've got raw talent across the board, but also a lot of unproven guys trying to learn the speed of the pro game. Even a player like Ashton Jeanty, who I believe will be outstanding, is still stepping into NFL defenses for the first time. And while running back is one of those rare positions where stars often shine from day one, it's still a new level. He'll flash early, no doubt, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. Wide receiver is a different story. That learning curve, it's real. It's the details, timing, leverage, route precision, adjusting to press coverage. Some guys hit the ground running, think Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua. Others take a season or two. Someone like Jack Bech, for example, will he be an instant impact guy, or is his trajectory more like a Jauan Jennings, developing slowly but surely? We can't know that yet. Same with Dante Thornton. Physical traits? Absolutely. But can he consistently win against top corners, run clean routes, and be trusted on 3rd and 9 in the fourth quarter? That's the question. This is where the coaching staff earns its paycheck, evaluating not just who looks good in practice, but who's actually ready for the weight of real NFL snaps. And if they don't see that readiness across the board, they've got to be aggressive. There's an open roster spot now. Carter Bradley's been waived. That's not just paperwork, that's an opportunity. You've got one more seat on the train, and if the right veteran receiver becomes available, You take a hard look. You don't wait for mid-season regret. Because this team has a shot to surprise people. So keep your eyes open. Moves could still be made. And if the Raiders bring in a stabilizing presence at wide receiver, that just might be the final piece that takes this offense from interesting to dangerous.